Goth women. One of the most sought-after archetypes of women in the modern dating landscape. What once was a rare breed has begun to multiply. Everywhere you look, black lipstick, chokers, and OF links spreading like an infection. And I, a humble ape among apes, have grown wary. See, I previously spoke about this illness when it was showing less threatening symptoms, but now it's gotten so bad to the point that the culture is slowly being consumed from the inside out. So buckle up, Pookies, because it's time to talk about why this spread is a mass Goth Girl Mitosis. Phase 1! The spawn point! Alright, there's no way of sugarcoating this. Goth culture is old as shit. It was literally formed all the way back in the Stone Age, aka the 1970s. And because of that, there's been about 50 years of misinformation and, in all honesty, borderline brain-dead takes surrounding the origins of the culture. So, I've taken the liberty of doing the research for you and condensing it into this short section, since I know Google is a foreign concept to some of you. Goth culture stems from goth music at its core. Like, yeah, there's all this extra stuff on the outside, but in the center, it's the music. See, goth culture originates from the punk/post-punk scene in the UK, which, first of all, ew, British! But I can't hate on them all too much since they invented this shit. Now, whilst punk was known for being more energetic, goth, on the other hand, leaned more towards darker, melancholic vibes. Less, ugh, I hate the government! And more, ugh, I hate the government! But death is inevitable. The scene really started popping off when one of the first gothic clubs opened up in the UK, called the Bat Cave, along with early goth bands like Bauhaus, Sushi, and the
Banshees,
and The Cure, helping push it forward. Out of that boom came what we know now as the goth aesthetic, or more specifically, trad goth. Stuff like poofy hair, white foundation, black eyeliner, fishnets, leather jackets, and all the edgy DIY shit it's known for today. So now that we've established it's a music-centered subculture with punk roots, now is the perfect time to clarify the difference between goth and gothic, since people use them interchangeably when they are literally two different things. Goth is the music-based subculture, along with the fashion. Gothic refers to the art style, literature, architecture, and the general dark and romantic mood. Stuff like Dracula and Frankenstein. Hell, even the Addams Family is considered gothic. I'm bringing this up because brainlets, typically right-wing white boys, love to say, actually, goth culture comes from Catholicism, which it doesn't. It shares some aesthetics and imagery, like a focus on death, crucifixes, rosaries, and cathedrals. But there's no religious mandate. Like, bro, just because you like blowing up unarmed civilians doesn't mean you're. But speaking of those right-wing white boys, I might ruffle some feathers with this one. But can't really be conservative and be goth. That's basically an oxymoron. Same with the people who say goth isn't political. Punk and goth were literally built on countercultural, anti-establishment beliefs, being against racism, LGBTQ discrimination, and fascist ideologies. Yes. And even though it's centered around music and fashion, these subcultures were created as safe spaces for marginalized groups, which makes them inherently inclusive. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the right isn't exactly known for being the most inclusive group on the planet. I mean, hey, you can be a right-wing goth, just don't say it out loud, or you will be ostracized for all eternity. Now that I've laid out a fresh baseline for all of you Pookies watching this, it's time to talk about the infection that's plaguing the community. Phase 2! Goth Girl Mitosis! If goth culture was a living, breathing organism, OF creators would be the cancer spreading through it. Nowadays, anyone can LARP as a goth girl. Oh, even you can do it too! And thanks to my colleagues at LARP University, we've developed a foolproof Goth Girl LARPing starter pack. Take a look. All you need to build up that clout and rake in those sweet, sweet OF subscriptions is some black lipstick and black clothing. Buy some fishnets, chokers, and maybe even dye your hair if you're feeling extra committed. Start calling yourself a goth mommy or a goth girlfriend and make content with heavy sexual undertones. And boom! You are now a bona fide goth girl. Just be wary of actual alternative people. They can smell your fear. But this is where the mitosis part comes in. And if you're unfamiliar with biology or haven't taken it in 10 years, here's a quick refresher. Mitosis is when a single cell divides into two genetically identical cells. The more you know. See, when one viral creator cosplays as a goth girl and racks up a ton of views, that causes other e-girls to copy the look and behavior, which then gets them rewarded with views, likes, and money, which causes the cycle to happen again and 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 again. And honestly, why not? Am I right? There are literally no downsides to doing this. It's already proven to be profitable and comes with a ton of clout. There's a low barrier for entry because, like, who even cares about the culture? Just order some black lipstick. It's instantly recognizable and the audience is ripe for the picking. And if you ever get hate for being a poser, do not worry. Your Coomer-brained underlings will be there to defend your honor because they can't imagine a life where they're not shooting ropes to your alluring goth figure. Well, unless a prettier goth girl comes around. Like that'll ever happen. Let's go. We did it. Goth culture is no longer seen by the masses as a weird subculture centered around music and inclusivity. It has now been reduced to dominant women, hypersexuality, and the mommy persona. Hooray! Waiter, more thirst traps and parasocial bait, please. And don't forget the link in bio. And now that the music element has become irrelevant and the subculture has been reduced to surface level aesthetics, there's bound to be absolutely zero negative impact on the culture as a whole, right? Right? Phase 3! Watch, Brad, repercussions! One freaky goth Betty, please. Nowadays, being alt online has gotta be its own form of hell on earth. Your comment sections are absolutely littered with these reaction images, or your DMs are flooded with weirdos begging you to step on them. Oh, I'd say the worst part is seeing one of your own homies in the comments saying some corny shit like, you can ruin my life. Oh no, little German boy, you've fallen for the propaganda. You have to be put down now too. Oh my god. I feel the need to say this real quick though. Acting submissive in someone's DMs and saying something like, please use me till I pass out, is just as bad as being dominant and saying you're like 8 inches and thick. Just thought I'd throw it out there. Anyway, back to the main topic. Goth culture, along with pretty much all alt aesthetics, have basically been reduced to a fetish at this point, mainly because of these OF creators. It's gotten so bad that even if you have alt makeup or clothing to any extent, even without making sexual content, you'll still have all these down bad mofos acting feral and calling you mommy in your comments and DMs. And because of this over-sexualization, it's had this unintended effect or intended, I don't really know at this point, where there's been a massive influx of basic guys, often white, with primarily conservative beliefs, proclaiming to the world that they love goth mommies and goth girls aren't just their type. When, newsflash, they don't want you. And you would think that if they actually wanted one, they'd like, I don't know, listen to the music, maybe change their beliefs, maybe even dress a little alternative. Yeah, I dabble in Deftones. But let me give you an ancient Chinese proverb. If you know what fish you want to catch, you have to know what food the fish likes to eat. Martin Luther King. And God forbid they actually bag an alt girl. Then they realize, wait, this isn't like Pink... How do you say that? Okay. This isn't like Pink Chew from Twitter. She actually likes skulls and goth music, piercings and tattoos. Please don't dye your hair again! It's basically like that exotic bird in a cage metaphor, where someone pursues a strong, free individual, only to limit their freedom and control their actions. And when something gets reduced to a fantasy, people stop seeing the identity and only see the aesthetic. Phase 4! Identity versus aesthetics! Goth culture started off as, and always will be, about its identity. Because your identity is something you participate in. The music, the community, and the values are all things that are internalized. The aesthetic, on the other hand, is something you can just put on. The clothes, the makeup, Even the performance can all be taken away at a moment's notice. It's gotten to the point where, originally, you would start with the culture and gradually adopt the aesthetic. Now it's reversed, with people not even bothering to understand the culture at all. Which is why so many goths voice their disdain for posers, because they're watching their culture, one, that accepted them for who they are, get reduced to nothing but a video category. And the sad thing is, aesthetics will always win. Because identity takes time. It's crafted over years of experience. Aesthetic, on the other hand, takes 2 days shipping and a TikTok account. I don't intend for this video to come off as gatekeepy though. I'm not here to tell you that you need piercings, tattoos, or to listen to some piss fart loaded diaper underground band to be considered goth. That's not my intention at all. And the community is actually really supportive of baby bats. I'm also not saying you can't find alternative people attractive or have them be your type. I'm making this video to spread awareness about the false narratives surrounding goth and alt cultures that are being pushed by the OF creators. Because it used to be that the way you looked reflected who you were. Now, it's the other way around. And I would usually end these videos with some profound line, but honestly, I got nothing. I will say this though. What's happening to the goth community right now is exactly the same thing that's happened to the gaming, anime, and streaming communities. All of them eventually get flooded with LARPers and OF girls just trying to get a check. And once that happens, it's not a culture anymore. It's just content. But yeah, Pookies, that was my follow-up essay, Goth Girl Mitosis, the sequel to Goth Girl Psychosis. Hopefully, now you're a little more educated on the culture and the absolute buffoonery plaguing it. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Also, follow me on Twitter and use code DOWNBAD at GamerSubs. That's all for today though, Pookies. Bye bye.
You should follow Zeno now.